Have you ever noticed how many people, especially those who are older, tend to wake up in the middle of the night? It's always the same time, 3 a.m., as if an invisible alarm goes off right when the world is at its quietest. And the most curious part? Many of these people can't fall back asleep. They lie there in the dark, listening to the sound of silence, their own thoughts, the beating of their heart. And no matter how much they try to rationalize it, their body simply won't return to rest. What's happening? Could it be anxiety, a sleep disorder, or is there something deeper behind these silent awakenings? The truth is that this phenomenon, though common, is surrounded by mysteries and interpretations. It's not just a matter of age or insomnia. Behind this specific time, 3 a.m., lie valuable clues about the body, mind, and soul of those who wake up. And in this video, we'll explore 5 powerful reasons, some physical, others emotional, and even some spiritual, that explain why so many older people wake up at exactly this hour. And more than that, what these awakenings are trying to tell us. Stick with us until the end, because what you'll discover here might transform not only your understanding of sleep, but also of yourself. If you've experienced this, or know someone who has, know that you're not alone. Your body is speaking, and maybe it's time to listen. If you're enjoying this content, take a moment to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. That helps us keep producing videos that inform, comfort, and inspire. Your support is essential. Now, let's dive straight into the content. We'll start with one of the most biological and inevitable factors, the reduction of melatonin. As we age, our bodies begin to produce less of this hormone that's fundamental to sleep. Melatonin acts like a conductor of our biological clock, telling us when it's time to sleep and when it's time to wake up. When we're younger, its production is abundant and regular. That's why children and teenagers can sleep long hours with ease. But as time goes by, that production decreases, especially during the early morning hours. That's exactly what happens with Harold, a 72-year-old man. For decades, Harold had impeccable sleep. He was always considered a good sleeper, as he jokingly put it. But lately, he's been waking up around 3:15 a.m., fully alert. He's not in pain, didn't have a nightmare, didn't hear any strange noise. He just wakes up, as if his body were saying, "It's time to get up." At first, Harold thought something was wrong with him. He felt frustrated, anxious, as if he were failing at something as natural as sleeping. But after talking to his doctor and doing some reading about aging and sleep, he understood. His body was simply producing less melatonin. That realization was liberating. Harold started adopting simple but effective measures. He avoided using electronic screens at night, kept his room completely dark, even covering the digital clock that emitted a faint blue light. He also began taking short walks at dusk, helping to reinforce his circadian rhythm. The result? Though he still wakes up early sometimes, he now knows how to handle it without guilt, respecting his body's new rhythm. This sensitivity to light also becomes more pronounced with age. Even small sources like the street light filtering through the window, the TV on standby, or the hallway light can affect melatonin production. The environment needs to be carefully adjusted because an aging body no longer has the same filter against external stimuli. But the phenomenon doesn't stop there. There's also a significant change in what's known as the sleep cycle. It's the famous advanced sleep phase, a common condition in older adults. This shift causes people to feel sleepy earlier in the evening and, consequently, wake up earlier in the morning. In other words, if they used to go to bed at 11 p.m. and wake up at 7 a.m., now they fall asleep at 9 p.m. and wake up at 3 a.m., often without even noticing this shift. Charles, at 68, is a classic example. Since retiring, his routine has changed a lot. He usually eats dinner at 5:30 p.m., watches TV for an hour, and without realizing it, he's in bed by 8:30 p.m. When the clock strikes 3 a.m., his body has already rested enough and wakes up naturally. He thought he was suffering from insomnia, but in reality, his sleep cycle had adjusted to a new biological and social reality. This change has an important psychological component. The tranquility that comes with retirement, the silence of the house, the reduction in social interactions, all of this signals to the body that it's time to rest earlier. And without the commitments that once forced the body to stick to a different routine, like meetings, commutes, fixed schedules, the organism settles into a new, earlier, quieter rhythm. And what about the physical discomforts that come with time? Waking up at 3 a.m. can also be a reflection of subtle pains, discomforts that are almost imperceptible during the day but intensify in the stillness of the night. Back pain, a twinge in the hip, a cramp, a full bladder, all of these can interrupt sleep. And often, as in the case of Janer, a 76-year-old, these causes are mistaken for inevitable aging. Janer spent months believing it was normal to wake up every night to use the bathroom. But during a doctor's visit, he discovered that one of his medications was altering his hydration levels, increasing his need to urinate at night. With his doctor's help, he adjusted the timing of his medication, started hydrating better during the day, and avoided liquids at night. Today, Janer can sleep for longer stretches with fewer interruptions. These small changes make a huge difference. They show that the body, even as it ages, continues to communicate its needs, and that understanding these signals is an act of care, not resignation. Another often overlooked factor is the impact of routines and habits that change over time. After decades of an intense life marked by work, commitments, and constant physical activity, many older adults end up slowing down significantly. This slowdown, though natural, has invisible consequences for sleep. Walter, for example, is 74 and recently retired. In the first few months, he enjoyed his free time by relaxing. He started eating dinner earlier, around 5 p.m., watched the news in his armchair, and often dozed off before the program even ended. Soon, he was going to bed before 9 p.m. At first, he didn't notice anything unusual, but soon enough, he started waking up every day around 3 a.m. He'd wake up alert, not sleepy, with the feeling that his body had already rested enough. The thing is, Walter's body adapted to the new routine. With fewer external stimuli, like meetings, schedules, traffic, or the gym, the organism understood that the day ended earlier. The absence of regular physical activity also contributed. Without the natural fatigue generated by movement, the body doesn't feel the same need for deep, continuous sleep. And with a slower metabolism, even digestion becomes a factor. Eating early and not having a light snack before bed can lead to a drop in blood sugar levels during the night, triggering a sudden awakening. The good news is that Walter managed to reorganize his routine. He started taking daily walks again, added light activities in the late afternoon like gardening and reading, and began having a small nighttime snack. These simple changes helped extend his sleep time and significantly reduced his 3 a.m. awakenings. Another aspect that can't be ignored is the emotional one. Many older adults silently experience a range of complex feelings during the night. Subtle fears, old regrets, unvoiced longings, anxieties tucked away in some corner of memory. It's in the silence of the night, when the outside world slows down, that these feelings start to surface. Gloria, at 80, is a poignant portrait of this reality. Widowed for 7 years, she lives alone and spends her days tending to her garden, calling her grandchildren, and watching her favorite shows. But always around 3 a.m., she wakes up with her mind full of memories. She thinks about her husband, the conversations they had, the moments they shared, and also the words left unsaid. At first, she thought it was just an age thing, a natural consequence of getting older. But little by little, she realized her heart was asking for something more, a way to express, to connect, to be heard. Gloria found relief in a journal. She kept a notebook by her bedside, and whenever she woke up in the middle of the night, she wrote down what she felt. It didn't need to be elaborate. Sometimes a single sentence, other times a full outpouring. She also started listening to soft music before bed and writing little notes to friends and family. These rituals, though simple, gave voice to the emotions that once wandered freely in her mind. This kind of awakening isn't caused by insomnia nor by a sleep dysfunction. It's the soul speaking. It's the heart asking for space. And contrary to what many think, there's nothing wrong with it. On the contrary, it might be a sign that there's a deep wisdom wanting to emerge, a wisdom built over an entire lifetime, deserving to be heard and embraced. This silent 3 a.m. moment, then, can be seen as an invitation to inner listening, to understanding what the body feels, what the mind carries, what the heart longs for. Each person is unique, and each awakening may carry a different meaning. For some, it might be a sign that their routine needs adjustment. For others, a reminder that there are feelings yet to be expressed. And for many, it's just the body saying, "I'm here, still moving, still seeking balance." That's why it's so important not to react with fear or frustration. Instead, ask yourself gently, why did my body wake up now? What is it trying to tell me? Sometimes the answer comes quickly. Other times it reveals itself slowly. But one thing is certain, waking up at 3 a.m. doesn't need to be seen as a failure. It can actually be a mirror, reflecting not just physical aging, but also the emotional depth and spiritual wisdom that only time can offer. Understanding all this is liberating. And more than that, it's a way to honor your own journey. After all, the body does change, yes. The mind changes, the routine changes. But that doesn't mean loss. It means evolution. And with that evolution comes the opportunity to live with more presence, more intention, more awareness. As we wrap up this video, we invite you to look at these moments with more kindness. If you, like Harold, Charles, Janer, Walter, or Gloria, also wake up at 3 a.m., know that you're not alone. There are millions of people around the world having similar experiences, and they all share something in common. They're in a process of transformation. Body, mind, and soul all adjusting to a new stage of life. If this content touched you in some way, leave a comment below sharing your experience. Share it with someone who might be going through this too. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, take a moment to subscribe and turn on the bell. That helps us keep producing content that comforts, informs, and inspires. Remember, waking up at 3 a.m. might seem like a nuisance, but it can also be a blessing in disguise, a moment of pause, a sign, an opportunity to listen more closely to what's happening inside you. Thank you for being here with us, and until the next video.